I think for a lot of us, there's this nagging feeling that we've been thinking about money completely wrong, that our whole relationship with it, how we save, how we spend, is just a little bit off. Well, today we're going to unpack a new way of thinking that might just completely change your perspective on wealth and, yeah, even happiness. It's all based on the fantastic work of author Morgan Housel.
So let's start with this core idea, which actually comes from social work. When we look at how other people handle their money, it is so easy to judge, right? Like, why would they ever buy that? Why are they so cheap? But what if none of those decisions are actually crazy? What if, with enough context, they're all perfectly logical? And that leads us to this really powerful first point. When it comes to money, nobody is crazy. Every single financial choice we make, whether it looks reckless or super conservative from the outside, is really just a logical response to our own unique personal history with money. Think about it like this. All of these things create your personal financial blueprint. The generation you were born into. Did you grow up with inflation or a booming stock market? The lessons your parents taught you or didn't teach you. Your own first experience with financial struggle. These things shape your view of the world in ways we barely even notice. The bottom line is, there's no single right way to do money, just like there's no single right taste in music. You've got to find what works for you.
Okay, so if how we act with money is so personal, then shouldn't our goals with money be personal too? This really pushes us beyond the simple idea of just piling up more and more cash, and it forces us to ask a much deeper question. What are we actually trying to do with all this wealth?
The age-old question, right? Can money buy happiness? And the answer is, well, it's a yes and no kind of thing. While a dollar bill itself isn't a direct ticket to joy, money is an incredible tool. It can't exactly buy happiness, but you know what it can do? It can buy off stress, it can create a buffer, and it can pave the way for the things that really make us happy.
And here's what that indirect path looks like in practice. See, the big house itself doesn't make you happy. It's the connections you build and the community you host inside that house. The fancy vacation isn't the source of joy. It's the shared memories you create with the people you love. Money is always the tool. It's never the end goal itself. So, what are we really aiming for? It kind of boils down to this incredible simple formula for a good life. Independence plus purpose. You see, money's greatest, most tangible power is its ability to give you independence, which is just control over your time and your options. And with that freedom, you can then pursue a purpose that actually means something to you, not just one that's dictated by a paycheck.
But here's where things get tricky, especially with how we're all taught to plan for the future. So many of us create these super rigid long-term financial plans, but there's this powerful psychological bias that makes that whole approach incredibly fragile, and honestly, it's a trap we all fall into.
It's called the end of history illusion. I mean, think about it. Look back at who you were 10 years ago. A totally different person, right? Different tastes, different goals, different friends. We can all see how much we've changed in the past. And yet, we look 10 years into the future and we assume we're going to be pretty much the same person we are today. Because we can't predict who we're going to become, making super extreme financial plans is just a recipe for regret.
And that's exactly why going to the extremes is just so risky. On one side, you have people saving almost every penny they make, but they risk waking up at 50 having missed out on life. On the other side, you've got people risking it all for a quick buck, jeopardizing their entire future. The smartest play is somewhere in the middle, a balanced plan that gives the person you have yet to become some room to breathe.
So let's step back for a second. What do people actually care about when they look back on a long, full life? This is where we can get some incredible wisdom about what's really important, and maybe where our focus ought to be. Just let that sink in for a moment. 1,000 people. All of them lived for a century. And not a single one said, "Man, I wish I'd made more money." You know what they wished for, over and over again? More time with friends, more time with family, that they had been kinder. That is a huge signal about where true value is. I absolutely love this framework from the writer David Brooks. He talks about resume virtues versus eulogy virtues. We spend most of our lives chasing the stuff on the left, right? The better job title, the higher income, the fancy degree. But at the end of it all, it's the stuff on the right that defines a good life. Were you a good friend? A loving parent? Did you make people laugh? Money can help with the list on the left, for sure, but our real goal should be the list on the right. Okay, so let's tie all of this together now. If the real goal is a life rich in these eulogy virtues, and that life is fueled by independence and purpose, then what is money's greatest, most powerful use? What's the ultimate asset?
So what is it? After all this, what's the one thing, the single most valuable thing that your money can actually purchase?
It's independence. That's it. It's that simple. The freedom to control your own time, the ability to wake up in the morning and say to yourself, I can do whatever I want today. That right there is the ultimate prize that wealth can offer you.
And look, this isn't some fluffy, abstract concept. It's incredibly real. Every single dollar you save isn't just sitting in an account. It is actively purchasing a small piece of your future freedom. It's buying you autonomy. It's buying you flexibility. It's buying you control. That's not just idle cash. That is a direct investment in your own liberty.
But, and this is a really important but, there's a flip side. Wealth without purpose, without the need to strive for anything, can be a huge psychological burden. I mean, history is just filled with stories of heirs to huge fortunes who were completely miserable because they never had to find their own way. They had all the money in the world, but zero independence of spirit.
So at the end of it all, I want to leave you with one big question to chew on. When you think about your money, what game are you really playing? Are you playing the internal game, using money as a tool to build a life of freedom and purpose? Or are you playing the external game, using it as a yardstick to measure how you stack up against other people? Because the answer to that question, well, it changes everything.